In this video, I'm going to talk about how to improve your memory. This is a very important subject for seniors. Excuse me for looking at my notes, but in order to make this video on how to improve your memory, I had to write some things down. Okay, how to improve your memory. One of the best things you can do to improve your memory is to keep a journal. I have several stacks of journals that I have developed over the last few years. And here's why it's important to keep a journal. Something happens between here and here when you take one of these and write it down. Something happens in your mind when you write it down. Your brain connects to the pen and you put it on paper, and your memories will be much better. Not to mention, you can always look back in your journals and see what happened on certain dates. It helps to write things down. I keep a journal on just about everything. I have a journal that I do in the morning, and I typically write anywhere from 1 to 3 pages. And I'll write down what I did yesterday, and I'll write down what my plans are for today. I'll write down things that I want to do. And I write everything down. And my wife will often say to me, "How come you have such a good memory?" It's because I write stuff down. I have a journal for when I exercise. And I write down every time that I exercise. It goes in that journal. That way I can look back and track how I'm doing my exercise program. I have a journal for my Bible reading. Let's see if I can find it here real quick. It's around here someplace. I got one just for Bible notes. And then I have one for goals and to-do lists. I have a journal for several different things. That's how I remember. I write them down. It's very important. I can't emphasize enough the importance of writing things down on a daily basis. It takes a little effort. Takes a little discipline, but it will exercise your brain if you will write it down. I can't explain all the psychology and physiology and all the other stuff, the big words, but I can tell you this: if you will write it down, it will help you to remember. All right, so have a journal and write it down. Take notes. I even take notes in church. When the pastor is up there speaking, I take notes on his sermon outline. Our pastor is very good. I go to Tabernacle Baptist here in Wilson, North Carolina. If you happen to be in the area, visit. It's a great church. But I take notes while the pastor is speaking so that I can remember later what he said. How many times have you gone to church and you go home and you can't hardly remember what the pastor talked about? You know it was a good sermon, and you know he brought out a little good points, but you can't really remember what he said. Well, I take notes. I have a journal. I carry it to church with me, and I take that journal, and while the pastor is speaking, I write everything down. And sometimes he goes too fast, but I write down the points in his outline is what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's see, what else do I have on my list here? So keep a journal. Write, take notes, pay attention. This is journaling is very important. Memorize stuff. One of the things that my wife and I did early on in our life as Christians is we memorized certain passages of the Bible. My wife can quote Bible verses. We're out taking a walk last night. We're having a great theological discussion. And she says to me, "Well, what about John 3:16, for God so loved the world?" And she quoted the whole verse. And I'm like, wow, that's really great. You can improve your memory. You really can. But it takes a little bit of mental exercise. So here's some tips. I'll get right to it. Keep a journal. Memorize stuff. Yeah, memorize stuff. In the old days, we had to know our phone numbers, our friends' phone numbers, and all of that. And now we have these smartphones, and we don't have to memorize stuff anymore. I can remember when I was working for a certain company, I had all of the phone numbers of all the people I needed to contact on a regular basis memorized, not in speed dial, but memorized. There were 8 stores that I had to communicate with. There were several salespeople I had to communicate with. And I can even remember my phone number that we had 50 years ago because I memorized it. But now, with these smartphones, we don't use our memories very much. So the challenge is go back to using the memory. Using the memory will stretch your brain. It's just like having a GPS. When I was a salesperson, an outside salesperson, when I first started, we used maps. Now, for you young people, you may not know what a map is, but I had maps. I had maps of every city. I had map books. When I would go into a new city, I would buy a map and I would open it up and find the place I needed to go on a map. Now it's all on smartphones. We've got to use our minds more to improve our memory. Okay, so you got to memorize stuff. Keep a journal, memorize stuff, and write. I write 1 to 3 pages every day, and I write down what I did yesterday. Take notes. Pay attention to things. Think new thoughts. You know, we tend to think the same thoughts over and over again every day. Whatever we did yesterday, that's what we think about today. Try thinking some new thoughts, and you do that by reading books that are out of your field, or even watching videos that are out of the field of where you normally think. Exercise your brain. Okay, start new projects. Starting new projects like this YouTube channel. I started this YouTube channel January 1 of this year, and some of my videos are not very good. They're terrible. Some of my videos are not very good. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm having fun with it. And I can see myself doing this for a long, long time. I can see that this is a good long-term project for someone who is 75 years old, headed to 76 and beyond. That's why I like to watch old Mike. You know, he started his YouTube channel when he was 80. So start a new project. It will help your brain. It'll help you think. Take supplements. There are supplements on the market that will help you mentally. And I'm not going to name any. You'll just have to look them up. But there are supplements out there that are good for your brain. Let's see. It seems like there was one more thing. Exercise. That's a good one. Last night, my wife and I, we went out and took a walk. We walked for 40 minutes. We took our dog with us. And we had great theological, philosophical discussions in that 40-minute walk. Walk. Exercise. It's really good for you. So, how to improve your memory. Let me go back and review just a couple of things that I think are extremely important. Keep a journal. Write stuff down. I know a lot of times I've had people say, well, I don't know what to write. Well, I tell you what you do. If you're going to start with a journal, if you don't know what to write, go to the first page in the journal and write, I don't know what to write. And keep writing that until the ideas start popping into your head. And all of a sudden, you will fill up 3 or 4 pages with things that you were thinking about that you didn't even know you were thinking about. It comes out of your subconscious mind. And if you will exercise your subconscious mind, your mind and your brain will get better. And you can improve that memory. You can improve your mind and improve your memory. One of the best things that I've done in many, many years was to start this YouTube channel. When I retired, I eventually started selling things on eBay because I like that mental stimulation. I sold stuff on different websites. Then I started driving for Uber, really just to have something to do and get me out of the house. And I started this YouTube channel January 1 of this year, and I would highly recommend to anybody if you want to do something that's new and exciting and a challenge, and this is a challenge that can be a challenge every single day, is start a YouTube channel. So this video is going to be called How to Improve Your Memory. And the way you improve your memory when you're in your retirement years is to take on new challenges. And that's what I've done. And I'm really happy about it. So how to improve your memory? Start exercising that brain. Okay, I got off the subject here. Let me review this. Keep a journal. Write stuff down every day. Memorize stuff. Write. Take notes. Exercise. Pay attention. Think new thoughts. Start new projects. Take some supplements to help your mind. Stay active. One of the best things that we as senior citizens can do is to stay active. This is John Hauser, the grumpy old toad, saying thank you for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on my next video. Now I use my little remote here to shut this thing off.